All right, we are getting very close to the 50th year anniversary of BKFC's kickoff, and very, very happy to be talking to an individual who was on that event. Also, someone who's a veteran of many circuits like Strikeforce, Bellator, UFC. Happy to be talking to Estevan Payan today. How's your day going so far, man?
It's good. I get home around 3:30 and just to bed by like 4:35, and now I'm back up and then at it again.
And you said you're getting ready to train a bit later on there. Like, I'm kind of wondering, because it seems like you've been active in the gloved boxing a bit lately. Is that like kind of the next target, like for the next competition there?
Well, no, I do everything. Like I said, like when I first started competing, I used to just go everywhere and just spar everybody and do everything. Like and then that's what got me into to fighting. I like fighting. I don't like MMA. I don't care for like it's just the art. I just like the fighting. Like, and then it's a thinking man game. Like it's all about acting and reacting. There is no choreography move like everyone does. Like they just act and react.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of like firsts in your career, though. Like I was saying, you were on the first BKFC. I also thought it was cool that you were on the first ever Bellator event. You got the win over Luis Palomino there. What are your recollections of that?
You said the first thing you say is BKFC, and then my first win in Bellator was over Palomino, and Palomino is the BKFC champion.
Yeah.
I killed him again, and that's what happened in that fight. Everyone just told me that fight was horrible, and I'm just like, watching him, I outboxed the shit out of him. I was just like the cleaner striker and everything. And then, but that's what happened. Like, so you saw Johnny Hendricks, right? Remember Johnny Hendricks?
Oh yeah.
Remember his fast fucking how he just shot up into the fucking. He was a star, became champion. But that's the thing. Like it's how it happens with every fighter. Like I said, like same with me. I became this fucking phenom out here in Arizona. Everyone was afraid of me. Like. I said like 2-3 people drop out in one fight, like every fucking time I have a fight out here. Everyone became afraid of me. And I just trained myself like, yeah, I was at Arizona Combat Sports, but they didn't train me. They just used me as a spar and got me to fight, to spar everyone, helped me ready for fights. I would get round robin on by like Bader, CV, Varner, like all these fucking UFC fighters. And here I was just some fucking little ass Mexican or American fucking Mexican American beating people up. People just thought I was crazy. And that's where I learned to fight. Just fucking growing up in the fucking hood, just fighting. Like you talk shit, I fight you.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It kind of leads into like one of the first like bare-knuckle specific questions there, because like I kind of wanted to gauge some people's feelings initially, thoughts on like initially getting that offer. Like in mid 2018, obviously bare-knuckle wasn't, much of a thing in terms of people being aware of it domestically.
Yeah, I'll cover a lot of that like shit. They're horrible. Like they don't give a shit about fight. Like I remember when I was watching them talk about like fighter pay, we're paying paid fans that so much money, and I'm thinking like, do you want to know what those motherfuckers? They called me like last year. And they offered me like $1,500 to fight. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you guys are like, I was the first show. Not only that, I was like one of the fucking main people on their fucking little card, dude, or the television, the Vice program that they had. I was like one of the main guys on there. And then I put on a show for everybody. My fight was entertaining. It was good. I knocked him out quick, but it was good. But I'm not a fan of Feldman. I can't stand that guy. The guy's a turd.
Well, that kind of like covers a question that I wanted to ask, because I did find it curious you haven't really been like competing in bare-knuckle, because you were so exciting in that initial fight. Like, when did that bout offer come your way, like that last one you were talking about?
That one was probably the end of last year. last year, at the end of last year. But fucking the matchmaker called me, and I'm just like, well, I couldn't take it either. My arm was broken, but it was just, they said like, they're not trying to pay. Like, you're trying to pay me like fucking a couple well, like the first fight I did was with them. That first fight, I made $1,500. That was shit. And then fucking then he offered me a fight after that one, like another $1,500. I think he bumped it up to like $3,000 after a while. But that was the same thing because I said I voice what I see and know. Like every I've been competing. I compete in boxing, bare-knuckle. Like I do all these things, and that's what people don't understand. Like, yeah, the UFC pay you a lot. Yeah, they do pay you a lot. Because think about it, to top-ranked boxing. I fought for top-ranked boxing. They paid me $3,000. That was it. I fought for, and then when I fought for the UFC, I was at the bottom of the card in the same thing too. They paid me 10-10. It's just, you're not paying for an MMA fight or a boxing fight. You're paying for a Canelo Alvarez fight. You're paying for a Triple G fight. You know what I mean? Like, they become stars. But the UFC, what they do is, yeah, you watch a UFC card.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, it's a little more, like, spread out in terms of, like, the pay in MMA, but it's like the top boxing guys kind of get paid, like, those big purses that, like, people will put out there, like a Tyson Fury or a Canelo Alvarez sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a whole different world because now you're fighting the cream of the crop. Like in boxing, a lot of these they start off at a young age and then they just do it and do it and do it. And do it. Like, fuck, dude, like, some of these kids, that's all their lives ever have to have and ever do. Like in boxing, they have the so-called prospects. But that like, okay, Jake Paul, take Jake Paul for everyone talks shit about Jake Paul. Oh, he's having opponents that he's supposed to beat. I'm like, well, yeah, but because he's popular, that sells the fights. And he gets guys that he's supposed to kill, and he beats the shit out of them. And that's how everybody in boxing starts. Fuck, look at Mike Tyson. He became so popular, and who the fuck did he beat? Can you name me one of those fucking big names he beat? No, because he didn't beat anybody. He beat fucking old-ass Larry Holmes. Like, come on. Larry Holmes had been fully retired, like, I think a few years. Hadn't fought like 2-3 years. My whole thing, like, fighting out, like, I enjoy it. But I said the main thing is, like I said, I'm just trying to relearn what I knew. Because I said a lot of those dumb trainers just make shit up, and then I would think, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what it is. Dude, no motherfuckers know shit about fighting. But that's, like I said, like Bader, CB, Jamie Varner, all of those used to train at combat. But here I was just some kid out of the ghetto, just beating them up. I could beat them up, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know training, but that's the story. I grew up fighting. I liked fighting since I was a kid. I remember I used to, well, not a kid, but when I became a teenager, once I was a teenager, I just became attracted to boxing and everything. I used to do the whole, like, we would sit in the front yard with just boxing gloves and we'd all just beat the shit out of each other. I'd have friends come over and we'd box. And then even when I was in the military too, I would get bored, and then I started doing jiu-jitsu. Then as I started doing jiu-jitsu, like, this guy, he's like, showed up then to jiu-jitsu, and he's like, oh yeah, there's this boxing gym around the corner. Like, then I went and tried that. I went there like Monday or Tuesday, and then I fought fucking Saturday. Showed up to the gym, but that's like, cause I remember when I showed up, the trainer was like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to get in shape? You want to have a six-pack? I'm like, dude, like, I already got a six-pack. Like, fucking, I'm looking at like all his guys, and I'm like, I just want to fight. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to fight. It just kills time. It entertains me. And then I said that I fought that weekend. But the thing too, I say, was when I showed up for that gym, like, or even just fighting, it's all boxing. It's a game from the fucking start. Like, it's all a game because it doesn't matter where you're at. Like, everyone plays by those same fucking rules. especially the amateurs. The amateurs, they'll match up who they want to win. And then their first fight will be an easy fight. Second fight, then it starts, okay, now it's competitive. But the first thing they try to do is weed out the fucking weaker guys. Fuck it, dude, the last time I did a boxing fight, so I show up. Well, first off, I fight at 160. I was fighting at 160, and I was like, yeah, I'll move up in weight. And then I was like, okay, like, well, we have this guy, and like, okay, 175. Like, I show up 175. I show up on weight, and then fucking the morning of the fight, they're like, hey, he can't make weight, so the fight's at 180. I'm like, well, how much more money are you gonna give me? So like, oh, well, he's already paying like $2,000 for the fight. He's got to pay for your ticket to fly out here. He's got to pay to fucking, he's got to pay for my purse. So the guy, the only thing he's making is if he sells any tickets. That's the only way he's making any money. And then fucking, then they're like, oh, so I'm like, I'm very fucking, I missed work. I'm not going to fucking miss out on this money too now, you know what I mean? Like, I still got to live. And fucking, so I just take the fight still. And then the day, like, I'll send you a picture. I'll post it, dude. The guy was fucking like probably over 200 pounds. I show up at like 170, or no, how much did I weigh? I think I might have been like, I might have been underweight still. Like, might have been like 172, 170. Like, you know what I mean? I was still small. But that's that much I weighed. I didn't have to cut any weight. You know what I mean? The fight was at 175, and this motherfucker, the next day, he's like 200 pounds, like, but the thing is, like, he was landing some punches, but I wasn't getting hurt, but that's something they don't get, like, because of the way they match people up, they think that I'm like that lower level guy, because they stopped the fight, and I'm like, I look at the ref, I'm like, what did you stop it for? Like, yeah, he was hitting me, but that's why they said to keep your hands up, you know what I mean? He's just like punching and punching and punching. No, even one of the fights I did before that, one of the boxing fights, I beat the guy. Everyone knew I beat the guy. He threw all these punches, and he couldn't hit me. And then fucking, they gave him the unanimous decision, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Because then when I would hit him, I would just back that motherfucker up. He'd just start running from me. But it's all a game. It's not about what you know, it's who you know in this shit.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying. A lot of politics in the fight game, as you outlined. And yeah, I mean, there unfortunately is a lot of that.
Everything I hate on Jake Paul, but he's doing everything, he's doing what Mike Tyson did. What Mike Tyson made a living off of doing. And I tell you, you want to know the main reason why you guys don't hate Jake Paul? They're like, why? Like, because he's fucking white. You guys are all racist as fuck. Like, everyone's talking about white people are racist against black people, and they're racist against this and that. Like, dude, everyone's racist against poor white people. I feel so bad for you guys. You guys are like the evil stepbrother that fucking no one likes. But the world is fucked up because of stupid shit like that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, in the sense of, it can be a curious landscape, like, with, like, the whole boxing learning curve. Like, I mean, a lot of other boxers do that as well, like, fight opponents and kind of build their way up. And, they're supposed to beat them, as you were talking about. But I'm curious, like, when in the summer of 2018, when you initially got that bare-knuckle offer, like, you talk about how fun combat sports is and stuff like that. Was the excitement really there when you got the bout offer? Like, oh, this could be cool, something new.
Yeah, I just said, oh shit, I want to try this. Like, I grew up fighting. I was just the guy that was in my neighborhood. I was known for fighting. Everyone knew I could fight, and just that was all bare knuckle.
Yeah, and it seemed like a cool one in the sense of, like, it had been, quite a while, like around, like, over a century since, like, a bare knuckle event had happened before. Did it kind of resonate like that? Like, it'd be a historically significant thing? Like,
I had been one because bare knuckle, like, people act like it's something brand new. Like, no, it had been going on for fucking years already. You had that BKB that was already fighting. They offered me a fight too, BKB. Like, I said, BKFC, like, dude, they're not the first bare knuckle thing. There was fucking bare knuckle events going on before that.
Yeah, I guess just
a fucking turd who's trying to sell himself. I have to say the same thing with him. Like Vaz, I remember when he tried to say that one shit about, I remember who was in the fight. Oh, we're going to dock his pay. That's not how we get down in BKFC. It's like, motherfucker, you don't get down. You just sit there behind the fucking TV and just fucking try to make your name be BKFC. He ain't shit. Fuck, how old is that guy? Like fucking 40, late 40s, early 50s? I don't know, who knows all this. But it's hard to never done anything, but they try to sell their name. Like, that's all he's doing is just selling his name. And he ain't shit.
Yeah, I guess I meant in the event context, like in America, like you're right, BKB has very much done a lot of great events in the UK and have been doing it for a while, so yeah, that is true.
Fuck! Think about UFC, the first UFC, that was Bare-Knuckle.
Yeah, for sure, and there is some Bare-Knuckle MMA nowadays too, like I know Jorge Masvidal's promotion does that.
There's shit going on all the time. They're not some fucking guys. They don't have all these backers. They still do there's all kinds of fighting all over the world. It's just these people try to sell it because they want it to be their stamp. Oh yeah, we don't do this. Like, no, you didn't.
And I'm kind of curious, like your last Bare-Knuckle fight was under that Valor BK banner. Do you see yourself competing in Bare-Knuckle again before the career is done, or is it just a matter of the right offer coming your way?
It's just a matter of like with the right people. Like, was one thing that I've learned, like how fucking shady and scumbag people are. Like that Valor, the same thing too. There's some fucking shady ass guy started trying to talk shit. Cause like me and the guy that I fought, we started talking shit back and forth. Then he started getting on there. Like, they started trying to back that kid I fought. I'm just like, man, fuck you. Like, I'm like, dude, why don't you fucking fight before you start trying to talk? And they, oh, I did fight. And then they showed me his fucking MMA record. It's like 4-1 or some shit. It's like, dude, congratulations. You fucking were one of those guys doing the same thing in MMA that they all do in boxing. You're just fighting guys you're supposed to be. And I said, you ain't shit. Because they start trying to get more mouthy with me, talking about like, oh yeah, I know about fighting. Dude, you don't know shit. You just fucking another little pussy that fucking handpicked opponents, and then you fucking had to step up, and yeah, you learn that, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah, for sure, and just, you know, like, I'm kind of curious, like, because, like, with the whole bare-knuckle thing, people always think of, like, say, like, John L. Sullivan, you know, Jake Kilrain, a lot of those guys from back in the day. Were you kind of thinking about that leading into the bare-knuckle fight a little bit? Like, oh, this is kind of cool. I get to, like, get a throwback.
I just wanted to fight. I hope this is going to be fun. Let's fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, the gamesmanship definitely comes through.
When I thought about BKFC, I was thinking about the movie Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr. That's what I was thinking about. Like, I was thinking about all the boxers, like all the old school guys. I was like, oh shit, this could be fun. Like, I remember watching the movie, and that was the same thing I did. Like with my, if you watch my Valor fight, when I fought E.J. Smith, same thing with that movie. I did the same shit in Gladiator that he does. Yeah. And fucking, like, if you watch E.J. Smith's hands are just swollen as fuck, and that's what I was telling the fucking. I was saying, how are you going to fucking give him a win? Like, he couldn't even hit me. And the only time he hit me was in the forehead. And I said, you can't really score boxing, bare-knuckle boxing, the same way as boxing. Because when you hit someone in the forehead in bare-knuckle, guess what happens? If you go back and watch the fight, you'll see how swollen his hands were and how it was hurting him just to try to hit me.
Yeah, you touch on...
Some people were like, oh, dude, you just have really tough skin. I'm like, no, motherfucker, he's not punching me. He's punching me in the forehead. Hardest part of the body. Well, did that in the jaw.
Yeah, you talk about some of the distinct differences, though, between bare-knuckle and, you know, gloved boxing and stuff like that. I'm kind of curious, like, what was the feeling you had in the first bare-knuckle fight, like, landing that first punch? Like, was it, like, a well-placed, kind of, like, soft spot kind of shot, or was it...
Like, if you feel the punch, you're probably going to break your fucking hand. You don't want to feel like you shouldn't feel it, because they said if you feel it, that means you're fucking doing it wrong.
And I feel like I know the answer to this. I feel like you kind of touched on it a bit before with like the mindset, but what were the feelings like pulling up to the arena on fight day, like almost like a gladiator sort of mentality there?
No, I really just don't give a shit. I just in my own world, do my own thing. Like, there is no crazy. Oh my god! Like, I tell people hi, how you doing? Like, but it's nothing. It's just like showing up to work. Like, you just get to work and do your thing. Do what you got to do.
So did you feel any kind of like, I mean, it seemed like you were composed with the whole thing, but like with the vibe backstage, was there any kind of like distinct feeling in that sense? Like it's like a new kind of thing for some people. Did it feel...
I've already had like so many fights before I even did that. Like, that's one thing. Like, if I remember when I went to, I remember the first time I went to Iraq. Same thing too. Like they did an interview with me for the news because I was just sitting there laughing and like I was just doing my own thing, having my own fucking time, like getting ready to fucking deploy. And then one of the reporters comes up to me and she's like, "If you want to interview me," and she's like, "Dude, like you're so relaxed. Like, well, why is that? Everyone else looks like stressed." And I'm like, "Well, this is what I signed up to do, isn't it? Like, I joined the military. I thought we were going to war, so that's what I joined. Same shit with fighting. Like, why would I be nervous? This is what I fucking signed up to do. This is what I wanted to do." But now to say fighting, like, there's making me do it, that's different. I mean, no, I have the choice. Free will.
And again, another one I feel like I almost know the answer to, but feel like I should pose it all the same. Like, was the camp unique at all for, like, the bare-knuckle boxing effort as opposed to, say, boxing? Or...
I have my own gym. I just train at my own gym. But the thing that fucked me up with that is I had this one idiot that used to spar with, this other fucking boxer. And he used to come spar with me. But then he didn't tell me, give me any advice or anything. He used to just come and I would beat the shit out of him. And then he started giving me all these tips, and I'm like, oh, okay, I better listen to this guy because he's got experience. He's got so many boxing fights. But that was the thing. He was a fucking bum. Like, he even lost to some guy I beat in MMA. Like, and the guy fighting, he was not the favorite at all. And he was the favorite. And he got fucking embarrassed. He got lost to that guy. Then he started giving me all these tips about what I need to do and this, that. And it just started making me worse and worse and worse. And that's the point where I understood, I'm like, why the fuck are you taking advice from this idiot who couldn't even beat the guy that you beat? But because he sold a lot of tickets, so they would bring opponents in for him to win. So that's it, the whole game of boxing. But that's what everybody says. You don't play boxing, you pay boxing. So you gotta pay for it out of your pocket, or you pay for it with your ass. Because you get hurt. Let's have a literally your ass, so don't be thinking like that now. But fucking, like I said, you get beat up, you get bumps and bruises where you gotta learn. And that's what I tell you, that the whole thing. I'm trying to fight next month in boxing out here in Arizona, and there's this fucking guy like running. He wasn't even sitting there. He used to do MMA, and I was like, "Oh, your record's horrible." Like, "Oh, dude, you're 2-0 against who? You never stood up at any of the competition I have. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fuck you up. Watch. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy." Like, you're gonna be like, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Like, it was a fluke just because his other fights where he won, he beats these guys. My dude, like, you were never shit in MMA, and I'm gonna show you ain't shit in boxing.
Yeah, well, I mean, such a wealth of experience you have as you were talking about. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how all of that, pans out there for sure. But just talking about the actual, performance you ended up having in the, co-main event and everything. You got the first round knockout over Omar Avelar. Like, how did all of that feel? I imagine that was like the ideal kind of outcome. You get it just like not quite a buzzer beater, but like a few seconds before. Like, what was your assessment of the performance?
I just wanted to beat the shit out of him. I said, dude, did you see how much bigger I look compared to that guy?
Yeah, there was a distinct difference.
He was
Yeah,
overweight.
Yeah.
He came in 10 pounds overweight. I was underweight. And I was still bigger than him. That's that whole thing, quality over quantity. He was probably still fatter than me, but it's the same thing. I tell everybody, I'm fucking That saying, I'm built different. Yes, I'm built different because I've built myself different. I don't believe in, like, they say, like, when I was at that fucking shitty-ass gym, Arizona Combat Sport, I used to fucking beat the shit out of everybody. And then they were telling me what I was doing wrong. I was beating the shit out of Bader, CB, VAR, like, all the UFC. Fuck, I made Carlos Condit. I remember I made him fucking start crying and fucking getting pissed off because here I am, this kid who doesn't know nothing, just beating the shit out of him. But I said, I'm just stupid, and I started thinking about that whole thing, like, oh yeah, you don't question Sensei, and that's what I tell you right now. Who fucking made that saying up? Don't ever question Sensei. Probably some fucking dumbass Sensei. Half the fuck, I told you, Johnny Hendricks, the motherfucker was a steel killer. Loses, fucking starts losing his trainers, and he becomes a fucking nobody. And then that's the thing I tell you, what the fuck happened with those trainers? They weren't shit. Johnny was good.
Yeah, so whereabouts are you training now? Like, obviously, Arizona Combat doesn't seem like it's the space you'd be getting in work at, so where are you training now?
Well, I have my own gym.
Whereabouts is that based?
In Tempe, out here in Arizona.
Okay.
But, it's just a little boxing gym, and then I have this, I go spar with one of my buddies because he has the title gym. Then I have this little guy who pays me, and he comes in to spar me, and pays me just because they understand, like, all the experience I have. I said, I have all the experience because I have the balls to fucking fight anybody. Like, people call me, hey, do you want to fight? I'm like, okay, I'll show up. So I did it. In Arizona, last year, I got called fucking, I took two fights like within a month of each other. I probably had like 3 fights in like 2 months. And I show up, the first fight they called me 2 days prior to the event, fucking 48 hours before the event. He said, the guy doesn't hit me, and then even after the fight, the guy's like, dude, like, you hit hard. I was like, well, you never hit me, so I couldn't tell you how hard you hit. But they gave him the decision because, same thing, well, this is a type of, like, you ever hear how people talk about, Mayweather paid to have the fights, he pays to bring certain judges. Well, yeah, he pays to have judges that understand how to score boxing. Like, I used to be dumb too, like, where I thought, he beat Mayweather because he threw more punches. Like, well, yeah, he threw a lot of punches, but if you notice, like, every one of them hit his fucking gloves. And that's the same way to tell you, keep your hands up. And, yeah, Mayweather did that. He kept his hands up, and I said, he fucking schooled Maidana.
Yes, stark differences between the first, fight and the second fight, for sure. I get what you mean in that sense. Like, sometimes the perceptions people have with, like, what's landing and what's not landing, but I guess I'm also kind of curious, like, I mean, you seem like a locked-in, focused guy, so maybe you weren't noticing some of the other fights that night, but did any moments from that first BKFC stand out to you, like any other fights, like maybe Arnold Adams' main event win? I know Tony Lopez and Joey Beltran fought, just a lot of big names on the card. Was there any, like, moment from the card other than your fight that you recall?
No, like I said, I didn't think any of them were really that good. Like I said, like, it's basically, they were all a lot of bar fights. Like, I didn't. Well, that's what I said. Well, if you got to think about it, people don't understand fighting. Like I said, like, everyone's like, oh, dude, you're like a bull just rushing forward. Like, no, I did not rush forward. If you watch, I boxed. And that's the thing, like, with all those other fights, a lot of those were just, like, fucking bar fights. A lot of them were just dumb bar fights. There was, like, no high-level skill. They're just brawling. Where I started listening to two people who believe in that same mentality of doing that same dumb shit. Like, they want entertainment. No, you don't want entertainment. You just want 2 days to go out there and fucking swing like dumbasses. You don't want skill. You want entertainment. I said, dummies fucking... You want to rock them talking robots. Just sit there and take punches.
Yeah, good to have, like, the fight IQ to it and everything, but I'm curious, like, how you physically felt after the fight. Like, a lot of bare-knuckle fighters talk about their hands being all banged up and things of that nature. Did you have anything like that in the following days?
No, I didn't really have nothing. I think I bruised one of my knuckles a little, but I was fine. I was fucking pain in the bag like 2 days later. I was fucking
yeah, you're right back to it as well. I mean,
like 2 days later after I got back home. But that's what I was telling you earlier. Like, if you feel the punch, you're not punching right. Like, if you feel like, oh yeah, I can feel. No, you don't want to feel the punch.
yeah, based on how you're talking about like that, it seems like the shot selection would have been on point. But one of the last things I was really curious to talk about too, I noticed you were also part of the first Lethway fight in the U.S. against LT Nelson. What was that whole experience like? I think that's really cool.
Same thing. Like, it's a shitty promotion. Fucking, I didn't get to spar for that fight. And then like one of the things that I was irritated. I'm like, because I show up to the weigh-ins. And he already weighed in. They didn't weigh him in. I know they didn't weigh him in. Because, dude, like, you don't fucking start weighing until both fighters are there. So they can both watch you out on the scales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had me fucking weigh in. And then fucking, he was already gone. How fucking shady is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a little questionable sounding, to say the least.
Yeah. Oh, he already weighed in, and then mother, he's big too. I was like, oh, he's pretty big. I didn't care shit though. I still did too, but still fought. And the other bad thing with that fight was I didn't get any sparring or anything before that because the fucking Plus, like I said, like, I've dealt with a lot of shit, baby. I had this fucking idiot. His name was Fidel. I had that fight come up, and then he's like, I can't fight. I'm gonna take some time off, and I'm like, this motherfucker. Like, because I had one fight where I had just broke I think I broke my leg. I got my tibia was broke. Like, it wasn't break, just like it snapped, so I had to let it heal. And then he called me one time. He's like, "Hey, I really need you to help me start sparring." I'm like, "Hey, boy, I probably had like 2 more months on my leg before it heals." I was like, "Yeah, but I'll come help you." And then when I had this fight come up, he's like, "Oh, I'm taking time off. He doesn't have anything wrong or hurt or anything. He just doesn't feel like sparring or doing anything because I used to fuck that guy up." But I said, because he had a fake ass record. And I told that guy too. I'm like, cause I'm just so sick of all the bullshit that was on this fucking fight community. I'm like, fuck it, dude. Let's fight. I'll fight you. I remember I told him before I'd fight him. And he's like, no, cause you don't get it. You're gonna actually fight. Like, because he just wants someone who's to come in there and doesn't really fucking fight, who he's supposed to beat up. And because he knows that I'm really good and I hit hard. So I used to drop that motherfucker in sparring. And I'd make him quit. Like, I didn't just drop him and be like, okay, I'm done. Like, I remember one time I sparred him. I hit him one fucking time, like, right in the first round. And he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, he couldn't spar no more.
What was the actual, like, I guess, competitive experience like in the vacuum of the fight, though? I just find Lethway fascinating with, like, the headbutts being allowed and things like that. Like, what was it like actually in the vacuum of the fight, I guess?
It's cool, but one of the things where people, they start focusing on that part of it instead of just fighting. Just like I said, fighting, you don't want to choreograph it. You want to act and react. That's what it's all about. Like I said, with that little fight, like the bad thing with that fight was, I said, I hadn't sparred, I don't know how many, like 2, 3. I didn't get to spar for the whole fight. I didn't get no sparring at all.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not.
And the same too, I said the shitty ass shit of him weighing in before the fight. I didn't get there. I didn't watch him weigh in or anything. Well, he made weight. And that was one of the things too. I noticed how big he was. He's big. Like I seen his last fight. Like he's a lot smaller now. But I think he might be sparring for more. But yeah, he was. Yeah, but like I said, you would even say the same thing. That's shady. How the fuck did you have another fighter get on the scale, but not the other fighter here?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some hijinks in the combat sports industry behind the scenes. Even in my small role, I've seen a couple things like that. I can only imagine what, you've seen there. But yeah, hopefully, better days coming. It sounds like you have a fight in the works and stuff like that, though. So that's good, man. But you've been really great with your time, too. And I want to be considerate of your schedule. I don't want to be talking your ear off too much. So to that point, is there maybe anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, Estevan?
Not really. Just tell other fighters, watch out for these fake-ass managers and even faker freaking trainers. And the same too, when you're learning, make sure you're learning from someone with experience. Because I said you got a lot of these guys who start becoming boxing trainers, Oh, well, I was a fighter. Like, no, you weren't a fighter, motherfucker. You're just some guy who got opponents paid to beat for you to beat them. Well, they don't. It's not like that. They get paid and they, okay, you're gonna lose this fight. No, you get opponents brought in that don't really train. That just need to make some money. They just come in and then you go to town and you win. They just watch out for guys like that. Fucking, I said the fight world it's shady. It's a shady ass business. Like I said, when they say you don't play boxing, like I told you, you don't play boxing, you pay for boxing.
Yeah, well, definitely good advice to younger fighters. You don't want to get in there with anyone that's going to, be predatory towards you or a hindrance at least in any kind of way. So some great parting thoughts. And
one thing that's heartbreaking, active movement affects active perception. So if you're actively doing this one thing, that's what you think it is, but it's not, because a lot of these trainers, they've never fought, and they're making all this shit up.
Yeah, very good insights for sure, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. I've been watching you fight for a while now, since like the Bellator and Strikeforce days and all that, so thanks for making some time, and you have a good rest of your day too, Esteban.
All right, you too.